welcome back to Mojo and Go Mondays. I hope you are having a wonderful evening. So today's video, I'm super excited because I spoke last week about tracking wellness habits, but this is the first official video, sort of the kickstart video, if you will, for my January month of goal setting. This entire month, I wanted to dedicate all of my content to goal setting, planning, daydreaming about our biggest, most bad-ass, excuse my French, versions of ourselves and how to make that a reality. Because one, yes, it is a new year, so it is really great timing, but also it's an entirely new decade. It's 2020. I want us to start this decade, on the right foot with 2020 vision. And I really just want us to be inspired and empowered to make this year and this decade the best that it can possibly be. So I wanted to begin that talk today with Rachel Hollis again. I wanted to talk to you about a point that she makes in Girls Stop Apologizing. And this is something that I really needed to read and I need to remind myself of, and so I wanted to share that with you, and that is to choose one goal at a time to focus on. So I know when we think of New Year's resolutions, generally we like to make a big long list of all the things that we're going to do for the year, and I do this as well. But Hollis suggests that you just choose one goal to focus on at a time and you go 110% toward that goal. And then once that's accomplished, you move on to the next thing. And I will tell you that this is challenging for me because as long as I can remember, since I was in middle school, I have been the type of person that wants to do all the things, the type of person who wants to do everything all at once, all or nothing, all in, but I want to do everything. And this has been a big challenge for me. I'm going to share with you her strategy for how to actually make progress toward who you want to be. So we're going to break that down, and then over the next couple of weeks, you and I invite you to journal and do this alongside me. We're going to actually take our big visions, our 10-year goals for ourselves, and we're going to break it down into goals that we can have not only for this year, but for the next, 12 weeks. And she says here, and this I think is the single greatest takeaway from this section, and what I hope that you take away from this video tonight, if nothing else: when everything is important, nothing is important. I can't tell you how much I struggle with this because everything is important, right? Everything that you're doing, and I'm sure you're like this too, you're passionate about each of your responsibilities and you can't drop the ball on any of them. What basket should I be putting all of my eggs into? What is the most important thing that I should be funneling all of that energy into? She says here, I found success when I learned to focus, and focus requires choosing one thing. It's hard for first-timers to commit to only one area when they're passionate about growth. What they don't realize is that a goal is like a harbor. When the tide rises in the harbor, all the boats rise, which I love that. This amazing thing happens when you start to grow in one area of your life. Other areas improve with it. She says, the question then becomes, how do you decide? How do you pick the right thing to focus on? Well, if you're me, meaning Hollis, you narrow it down using a process I like to call 10-10-1, which I love this. This is the whole premise of what we're going to be doing this month, is the 10-10-1 process of goal setting. It's 10 years, 10 dreams, one goal. And the premise of this is that you would do a visualization exercise to sort of imagine and step into this dream life, this fantasy life that you would like to live and be living in 10 years. And I like the 10-year decade approach. One, because we're going into a new decade, so the timing for this is just fantastic. But two, because 10 years goes by really quickly, yes, but it is a big enough chunk of time that it feels like a long time. It feels like anything is possible in 10 years, and it is. So I like using that time frame. It's basically like you're, interviewing your future self about what you like to do and who you're surrounded with and the kinds of people you want to hang out with and the ways that you want to be treated and the kind of life that you're living, things like that. And to just really imagine it and visualize it. And then what I love about this, she says, what's the best of the best? Now go bigger. What's a bigger version of the best version of you? For me, this is very similar to like being a kid and playing dress up, except you're just playing dress up in your mind right now, but you're imagining the kind of life you want to live, and it's a creative process. You're creating that future right now in this moment. So she says, turn your 10 years into 10 dreams. If those 10 dreams came true, they would make your vision a reality. So she says, now here's the key. Write down those 10 dreams in a notebook every single day and write them as if they've already happened. The next step is narrowing your focus down to one goal, 10, 10, 1. She says, when it comes to personal growth, women often approach it like a buffet. They want to work on a little bit of this and a little bit of that. They reason that all the areas of their lives are important, and so that they should try to fix them all at once. Maybe that's possible for some people, but I can tell you what's worked for me, and contrast is focus. And so again, I'm being the type of person that's like, every area is important. I want to improve everything straight away. It is hard to choose one goal at a time, but I like this question that she poses to you for help in choosing one goal to focus on first. And it says, what is one goal, one thing you can do that will get you closer to the 10 years from now version of yourself the fastest? And she goes on the process for, achieving the goal. It needs to be very specific, and it needs to be something that you can measure your progress toward. She says, you've also got to know why you want it so badly, ... Why will keep you going, even if you don't know how you'll get there. I think that's so important, and is really getting in touch with why you're doing something. And I spoke in my last video about being really honest with yourself about your goals. And I think if you're trying to answer that why question and you can't think of a strong enough why, it might be time to reassess whether that goal is even something you're really passionate about anymore. If it's something that you think you should do and it's not even something that's really connected to your heart, then maybe it's time to put that aside for right now. Maybe you're not ready to abandon that goal, but maybe you don't pursue it as priority number uno at the moment because you don't have any connection to it, right? So you want to make sure that whatever it is you're pursuing and putting energy toward is coming from a place that is connected to a very deep why. I love that chapter. I think this is a very, very excellent place to start this month off. Take some time to just daydream, maybe when you're on your way to work, or you're in the shower when all the best thinking happens, or you're doing laundry or something like that. Just think about what you want your life to look like. I would absolutely love if you would be willing to share some of your 10-year goals for your life, your dreams. I can't stop thinking of the Tangled song, I Have a Dream. I wish I could play it on here. I don't think I'm really allowed, but I love this stuff. So if you couldn't tell, I'm very excited. So I hope you're having a wonderful Monday. I'm very excited to speak with you soon. I hope this video served you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye guys.